This one is something a bit special, something very, very unique in the world of filmmaking. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a film like this before in my life, ever. But what am I even talking about? This is just another animated movie, isn't it? Well, it is that, but it's also made by one person, a Latvian man called Gints Tsilbalodis. And from what I can gather, he made this movie entirely on his own, from start to finish. From the writing to the animation to the music, it's all him, which also makes for the shortest credit roll I've ever seen. And while this is a rather short movie, it's still an hour 15 minutes, which I would call feature length. And that is an incredible achievement because I've dabbled a tiny bit in animation. Not a lot, but enough to know how much work it is, and it's a ridiculously labor-intensive process. But the beauty of animation is that you can literally make a movie on your own if you want to. And you don't have to act in it, and it doesn't need to be about a guy in a room or something. You can let your imagination run free. And if you make it without dialogue like this one, you can even avoid having to do any voices. You will have to learn how to make the music though, if you don't already know that. But I think Mr. Tsilbalodis did a fairly good job on that part too. Because the score is fitting, it's fairly simplistic and repetitive, but it does fit the mood and it definitely works. Which I guess brings us to the last part, if you want to make a movie. You'll need a script. You will also need to know how to write a story, and well, that is perhaps not this movie's biggest strength. Because the story here follows this young man, this kid, who finds himself somewhere strange. And almost immediately he's harassed by this giant blob monster thing, which starts chasing him. And that's sort of the looming threat in the background, the thing that's keeping the story moving forward. Because he needs to keep running, and as he runs he comes in contact with different creatures. And he explores different environments and has to navigate a few obstacles here and there. But there is definitely a narrative of sorts going on about this kid trying to find his way back where he came from. And along the way he, among other things, tries to help those in need as well. While of course attempting to avoid this blob monster thing that's always on his tail. But that's really it as far as the story goes. He keeps it fairly simple and rather vague. And I feel like this is more of an experiential film that you should just sit back and enjoy. Look at the pretty visuals and let yourself be immersed in the journey. Because you know what this felt like? It felt like watching a playthrough of a video game. It genuinely did, one of those really chill indie games where you just do a lot of exploring. Wander through a ton of different zones and maybe solve a few simple puzzles here and there. And underneath it all there's a loose narrative, but it's not really about that. It's about letting yourself get immersed in the world and all the wonders it has to offer, while just chilling, relaxing and forgetting about your daily life for a while. I mean, this thing is even split into chapters where each part is like a new area with a new obstacle or a new thing that needs to be done. It's literally like this guy wanted to make a game and then just decided to animate the journey instead of letting you control the character. And I don't know, is that a bad thing? I don't think so. I thought this was fairly enjoyable actually. And I did like how a few things came together there at the end too. So this didn't just feel like an aimless journey with no point to anything that actually occurred along the way. And I will say that I was impressed, and had I made this, I would be proud. Now with that being said, if I just judged this as a regular movie, ignoring the fact that it's made by one single person, I would be less impressed and I would say it's okay at best. It works, but I don't think it's phenomenal. I would also nitpick and be more harsh about some of my criticisms. But in this case I don't think that would be fair, and I'd like to encourage more people to do things like this. However, the big question remains, would I recommend this? Sure, I think it's worth checking out, if for nothing else than the novelty of having seen what one person can do when they put their mind to something. So, you know, maybe check it out, or you can also not do that. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.